and welcome to IPN Podcast. My name is Joanne Cox.
Hi, I'm Nanette Buchanan, and we're on Let's Talk About It. And today we're talking about lasting impressions. Are they good?
Because we're always talking about first impressions, but today we're talking about lasting impressions.
Yes.
And what exactly does that mean? Actually, what the word is saying, it's the last impression that you left with someone.
And it could have very well been something that you did that you don't even remember that you did. But that's what stuck in the person's mind about you. Mm-hmm. So are we always on our best behavior?
Of course not.
So sometimes the lasting impression may be something that we really didn't want someone to think of us as, because they saw us in the moment. Mm-hmm. They saw us in the moment, maybe celebrating too much.
Yes.
Maybe they saw us in a depressed mode. Mm-hmm. Maybe they saw us in an angered mode. Mm-hmm. Maybe they saw us in our reaction to something.
Yes.
And sometimes that's the impression that becomes the tagline for who we are.
Yes. And what I want to bring about is that there's a difference between when a person has known you for 5-10 years, mm-hmm. and you see that last impression that you presented, mm-hmm. and a person that has met you for the first time.
And there's a difference too in what changes a person. I mean, we all evolve and we all grow. So even if I've known you for 5 or 10 years and mm-hmm. I've known you to be a certain way, mm-hmm. there may be something in your life that has changed your attitude, mm-hmm. the way you handle things, mm-hmm. who you've become, mm-hmm. may be an entirely different thing for the positive or for the negative. But if it's that last impression that I saw you with, mm-hmm. it may very well change what I feel about you.
And the thing about this lasting impression, once I've made that, we say, and you've heard this before, it takes 10 positives to override a negative. Mm-hmm. So now that I'm aware, because it has been made public by everyone else or the associates or my friends, how do I combat that?
Well, a lot of times it's out of our hands. Because by the time you do something negative, you know that, Joanne, negative news moves a lot quicker than positive.
And we're ready to spread it. Right?
Yes. Okay. So if you've done something negative, mm-hmm. a lot of people are quick to call up and say, did you know that Joanne did such and such? And she said such and such? Mm-hmm. And did you see her when she replied such as... All of that becomes negative energy, and you know negative energy is the fastest energy there is.
If you want something to move, say something or do something in that negative way. But I would love to see us as a people in this world really uplift other people and talk about some of the positive things under that lasting impression.
Exactly.
So if I'm in this circle and someone is talking about that negative last impression they got from me, I would love for them to speak up and just say, well, is it possible that Joanne was going through something?
Exactly.
All of the things that you mentioned in the beginning. Can I be that point, that pivot point that I can turn that around with that person? Just to say, can we just think about this?
Can we think about it another way?
Can I just lay this on the table?
And it could be a moment. It could be just, like I said, a reaction. It could be just that moment. And we've seen that lately. Without mentioning what we're talking about, we've seen that. Yes. We've seen that with actors. We've seen that with people in the public eye. We've seen that with people that have disputes with their husband or their wives, and all of a sudden, we've seen outbursts with children and the impression that they give other people in a store, and you look at them and go, bad kids. But you don't know if the kid is bad. Exactly. It could be just that moment.
And it's called just to label someone. And we don't want to do that.
Right.
And I have seen it in the past with especially politicians. Mm-hmm. They had their group and everybody was rallying around them. Mm-hmm. And then they did this one terrible thing. And maybe they've done hundreds, but we didn't know it. Right. And the people pulled together. And they say all the positive things that this person has brought forth.
To change it.
And so I know as a people we can do that. Mm-hmm. So I feel that we should be trying to do that more often.
And like I said, the thing about it is, in this society, in this today moment, why is it that we look for the bad impression to be the news? Why is it that we look for something that we can dig at?
Because it sells, and we're money hungry.
We need to have, like you said, the positive looked at and done better. We look at the positive in many ways. So why not in someone that has been an icon for years? Someone that has been a plus in the community.
Yes.
Someone that has been, they're moving up and they're elevating, and they have one problem or one slip of the tongue or one show of an attitude or an emotional outburst, and all of a sudden that's the impression that we want to give to everybody, for everybody to follow behind. So I think that when we say lasting impressions, how long do they last? How long do we hold that?
Exactly.
How long do we hold that to them to say, oh yeah, in December of 1995.
Yes. And this is something that happens that you can honestly say, now I know who my friends are. Because these people are going to step forward, as I said earlier, and I think this is a good opportunity to find out where you stand. And I do feel like you can't keep a good man or woman down.
Right. Because if they had so many of these impressions, because impressions are little imprints of who you are. You get a chance when you meet the person. You get a chance when you hear about them. You get a chance when you see them again. You get a chance when they elevate and move on, or you elevate and move on. There's certain impressions, little imprints that you get from these people. Now, if every imprint that you get leads to a negative,
that's
you kind of know
that's different.
That's the kind of person that they are.
Yes.
That's who they are.
Yes.
But if it's an imprint that is just a momentary emotion, a momentary action, should we then say that that's their character?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
And this is what I would like to convey to the viewers, that this is something that we have to keep in mind. That we are here to edify each other.
Impressions do not make the person.
Right.
And we need to know that the character of the person is built over a time. It's not just the little imprints when we see them in a picture. And what is that she's got on?
Yes.
What type of character is that? It's just an imprint in time. It has nothing to do with their overall character. And that's what we need to remember.
And before, I know you have a good word for us, but what I would like to put on the table is that we also have to understand that when people are doing this, it makes us more aware of how we carry ourselves.
Yes, because
it does. When that happens, it's like, I need to be on my Q's and P's because I want to not have that picture taken. I'm in Walmart, and now that, I'm not going to wear my booty shorts. You guys, I'm joking. The thing is, you become so much more aware.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you believe that an impression that you've done, that imprint that you may have done, do you think that that's something that could last and ruin you forever?
It would depend on my status. At my age, no, I do not think it could ruin me. If I was just coming out in a career and people didn't know what I represented, I think it would be very difficult for me to stay in that career.
Right.
Because of some type of backlash.
Right. Because the longer you're in that career, the more you would have to build. Now, with that being said, what do I do to correct it? How do I fix it? If an impression has been made or interpreted, because a lot of times it's not even something that's made. It's just the interpretation on the other's part. If I've made an imprint and that impression has been made, does it last with me forever? How do I change that?
I think the best thing that a person could do is be themselves. and it will speak for itself. And to not try to overact on how I'm going to be better. If it was something that I wore, now I'm not going to go out and wear suits or something to show you that I can be more conservative. Mm-hmm. You just have to be yourself and understand that the universe will take care of that.
And with that said, we have to remember, as you said, anything with our name on it, or anything we put our name in, can leave an impression. And that leaves a connection to us.
Yes.
That means that's that imprint. You want to make sure that imprint leaves a positive. And even if it is a reaction and you get, that momentary thing, go back to it. Don't hide from it, because the impression follows you.
Yes, it will.
So don't hide from it. What impressions have you made? Good, bad, or indifferent? What have you thought about and said, maybe I didn't handle that correctly. Maybe some people are looking at that negatively and they shouldn't. Because we all get that social media post where we see that picture of Joanne shopping in those shorts at Walmart. We all know that, what was she thinking?
Yes.
So join us. Leave a comment. Let us know. Every Thursday on Let's Talk About It.